Okay, I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently tonight. My name is Andrea. I am trained as a therapist. I work as a coach. I'm a professional tarot and oracle reader, and I am also a professional DJ. Okay, so I usually just read the tarot, or I just channel, or a combination of both. But I want to talk specifically, not just the channeled message, we'll get into it, but just channeled vision. So one of the things that I don't talk about a lot is the various clairs that I do have. And clair audience, so hearing like a message, or oftentimes it's just a word, which is very different from an intrusive thought. An intrusive thought in psychology, just a little like therapist hat on for a second, would be like a very negative thought about yourself or your situation, another person, whatever it is. An intrusive thought is one that's very much unwanted. It's usually untrue. It's dysfunctional. It's not helpful. Those are intrusive thoughts. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about channeled, like audience. Clairaudience is like hearing a word, hearing a song, hearing something move through your consciousness into your awareness that is seemingly out of nowhere. And you know it's a channel when, for example, it's like a song you haven't heard in 20 years. And all of a sudden a song is there and it's relevant to whatever the situation is that you're talking about. I get those a lot. And then clairvoyant. So this isn't like me being able to sit in front of a crystal ball and see things. That's certainly not how it works for me. Clairvoyant it's like what can I see in my mind's eye? It's different from imagination. I don't conjure it up myself. It just comes through. It's subconscious. It comes and bubbles up. So this is different from channeling an actual message. So I want to start with that because I have my handy dandy new notebook and a bunch of things came through. If you're watching this, feel free to let me know down in the comments which ones resonate with you. And if you want to share in what way, I would love to hear about it. But one of the ones was turning on the light, lamps, turning on the light, turning point, enlightenment. So seeing a situation clearly, others, yourself, and then enlightenment, like things getting lighter. So a lighter load, less work. The emotions aren't so heavy anymore, less pressure. And then the support of friends and family, or even a stranger, just the situation feeling lighter, maybe humor. If you're going through a difficult time, maybe, or even if it's not that difficult, you're just having trouble focusing maybe on your work or getting something done, instead of trying to push yourself more and more for the consistency piece. Yes, consistency is helpful. Make at least one small action per day. Sorry. Getting messages. But it's like humor could be very helpful to you right now. So trying to see things in a little bit more of a lighthearted way to break whatever negativity. If you're stuck in a spiral, this could be watching a movie or a cartoon, going to see a friend. This sounds so basic and simple, but it's oftentimes, whenever I work with clients, it's oftentimes the homework that I give that is the most simple. Like it's the simplest and sometimes boring, to be honest. It's like it can be like a very simple task about being nice to yourself or journaling or things like that. You know, they kind of roll their eyes at it, but it's really effective. In fact, those things are the most effective. We often think it needs to be some sort of complicated solution to our problem. It's like Occam's razor. I think I talked about this in another video a long time ago. It's about the simplest solution is usually like the answer. The humor part is important because I think that the solution in this moment is looking at things in a different way. It's like the hanged man energy or hanged person energy of turning things around on its head. And it's not about making fun of yourself or making light of a situation that shouldn't be made fun of, but it is about finding humor within yourself, that ability to look at things from confirmation bings, looking at the situation in a more lighthearted way. There's just so much about like it's so funny. I just saw like dough rising. It's like a leavening. That doesn't seem like the right word. That has to do with like bread. It's not that specific. They're all just symbols and metaphors for things getting lighter, easier. I encourage, go watch a cartoon. Go hang out with your silliest friend. Go watch a funny movie. Just like, it's like something needs to illuminate right now because there's heaviness. I would also say that potentially things that have been illuminated or are about to be illuminated could either break the heaviness, or conversely, that situation itself is the thing that feels the most heavy. So you've learned some information recently that created these difficult feelings. And so being able to, well, honor the seriousness of whatever it is that you're going through, because I don't want to invalidate that. I don't even know what you're going through right now. But being able to find a little bit of hopefulness and a little bit of humor, whether or not it's about that thing, I don't know. But things are being revealed. This is a turning point. I heard that. I also, these ones, you are going to laugh at these. Glitter. So there's something about glitter, sparkles. Maybe you need to find your sparkle. Maybe you feel like your light's dimmed. I used to, I don't listen to like punk music anymore, despite what my spooky looking sweater. I thought it looked like the Lover's card in the tarot. That's why I got it. There's roses at the bottom. Turns out it's like punk rock bands or metal bands or something that I don't know written on the sides. Anyways, I'm not that tough. But I used to listen to a band called A Fire Inside. They're like a goth punk rock band that went through many incarnations. But I loved their name because to me it kind of sounds like a pilot light. You know, that little flame that is constantly on in order to then ignite a bigger flame. That's what a pilot light is. So this is kind of like, it's like being under the illusion that your fire has gone out, that your light has been extinguished, or that it's so dark that you can't find the light switch. But that's the thing. It's like when we're in between certain phases in our life, some people say it's like being in a cocoon before the butterfly comes out of the cocoon. Also the caterpillar, just so you, in case you weren't aware, caterpillars like disintegrate and then they become the butterfly. It's not like a caterpillar just sprouts wings, right? It becomes something entirely different, but out of the same materials. But I like to think about transition times as being in what I call the dark hallway. You were in a room before that was illuminated. It's time to move to the next phase, and you can't quite reach the doorknob of the next door that's going to open for you. So you have to let go of the knob of the previous situation and fumble around in the dark in what I call the dark hallway. And we have to fumble around for a little while, even if it's very brief. Maybe it feels like it's been forever that you've been fumbling around, but eventually you will find the doorknob, or in this scenario, I would say eventually you will find the light switch and you will turn on the light. So enlightenment, and then that levity or making things lighter, you're going to start to also feel yourself rise up. So there is like, for some people it's a very rebellious energy, like an uprising, which this is a timeless reading, but if you're listening to it when it is first put online, in the astrology, there's a very revolutionary energy that's going on, and we see that in our world politics right now. But you could be watching this at any time, and the energy is simply like rising up against things that are unjust, rising to the occasion, rising up to meet your life with more presence and devotion. And it's like taking things seriously without being serious. It's like that there needs to be more lightness and humor and feeling better in order to take your life more seriously and move things forward. So there's something about the heaviness and feeling quite down that is making it hard to move forward. I hope this is making sense to you. So seek out that support, right? Seek out that support, and you can find support in many different ways. A lot of times people think that they have to just see a coach, a therapist, a psychic, something like that. You can actually get a lot of healing from your mentors, and your mentors can be people that maybe you don't actually get to work with in person. You find them on YouTube, you find them online, you read it in a book, right? Spiritual teachers through books, things like that. You can get support in many different ways. Now, I don't believe in just struggling alone. Please reach out to a real person, at least one, but know that you can also gather support in other ways. But it does feel like, I like that word gathering. It's like you're gathering yourself, you're gathering your pieces, you're gathering your thoughts, you're gathering your energy after a time of what might have felt like the crumbling or currently feels like the crumbling. I think you're safer than you think. I think it's not as bad as you think. I think it feels like a tower moment. Maybe when we get the cards, we will get the tower. But I like to try and see the tower as an opportunity for growth. I kind of see the tower when you're getting it from an empowered mindset. It's like instead of everything feeling like it's crumbling, falling apart, it's you choosing to not kick it over. That's not what I mean, but you choosing to stand in the rain and yell at the sky, bring it on, as opposed to you like trying to run from the rain, knowing full well that you're going to get hit by that storm anyways. Or it's like watching the tower burn and warming yourself from the light and the glow and the heat of the fire instead of feeling like it's the end of the world. It's not. It's the end of a phase. It might even be the end of an identity. You could be going through an identity death, an ego death, if you will. But I encourage you to find ways to create more lightness in order to rise to the occasion. It's like if you were the balloon, and there's different types of, I didn't pursue chemistry, I have to be perfectly honest with you. I found it really challenging, so I switched to biology in school. But there are different gases, and some of them are heavier than others. So if you're the balloon, you want to fill your life with good things, joy, celebration, rest, nutrition, all of these things, connection. That will be like putting a lighter gas into the balloon so it can rise up, rise to meet life, rise to meet the occasion, rise to meet opportunities, rise and do the things that you say you want to do but you're not doing because you feel down or you feel like bogged down and heavy. Then there's like filling the balloon with heavy things, like just like consuming so much content and never creating anything yourself. Getting really stuck in the news cycle. I'm not saying don't be up to date with world events. It's good to stay up to date, but you don't need to be watching it all the time. That does a number on our unconscious mind, which can't tell the difference between reality and what is elsewhere in the world. Your conscious mind knows, but your unconscious doesn't. That's why you jump scare in a film when you're watching it, because consciously you know that you're not there and you're not that person and nothing's gonna get you, but your unconscious doesn't know that. That's why you jump, and then you laugh about it afterwards because you're like, haha, that's so silly, I can't believe I jumped or was afraid of a thing that's not there, right? So be careful with what you're consuming. Be careful with where you're spending your time and with whom in particular. And this could have to do with as well your nutrition, your health. Movement is important. Get out into the sunlight if you can. If you're a night owl, don't just like sit in the dark. Illuminate your space, right? I feel a little breathless now as I'm saying this, so I don't know if someone's feeling like the anxiety or feeling like a weight on the chest. Like it's almost like a suffocating kind of energy. I get the sense that there's a real overwhelm, and that's contributing to the heaviness. You might be feeling like you're taking on the weight of the world because you're consuming too much information. The thing is, humans aren't designed to like watch TV. Humans aren't designed to have cell phones. Humans aren't designed to be taking in this much information, the amount of information that we do. like on a daily basis, if at all. We're not. So if you can understand how heavy that must be, we're not supposed to be exposed to the number of people that we see on social media on the daily. Like the level of comparison that we fall into, which feels very heavy, is based on you comparing yourself to the highlight reel on social media of like hundreds of people in a day, if you're being honest with yourself, right? So, and consuming the constant bad news and thinking somehow that in doing so, that's changing the world. That's kind of a shadow of, you know, like keeping up to date is important too, but it can make our unconscious mind feel like we're engaging with something in some capacity because we care about it, but we're not actually doing anything. That's the shadow of it. So that can lead to overwhelm and feelings of disconnectedness, numbness, and despair. So I just want you just to take a moment, take a breath. You can practice something that I can't remember who came up with this concept, but it's a really good one. It's called the inner smile. So it's just, you don't even have to smile on the outside, but you imagine a smile on the inside, and the majority of the time you end up smiling on the outside anyways, even if things are really heavy. There's no, this sounds really weird, there's no punishment for feeling better. There's no punishment for feeling happy. It's not bad to feel good in a world that is chaotic and heavy. You are allowed to experience joy. You are allowed to experience happiness. You're allowed to feel pleasure and celebration and connection, even when much of the world is not, because that is what helps counteract it. You showing up in your light. There's so much about light in this reading. I love it. I was going to just read the list of words, and here we are channeling a whole message, and I haven't even taken out the cards, but there's a need for light. There's a need to go outside if you can. There's a need to turn on the lights. There's a need to light a candle. I just started doing I guess you could call it candle magic. It was more just like I found a pink candle and I lit it. And I sat with it yesterday, and it was nice. It made me feel better energetically. So lighting a candle. Sometimes it's nice to light a little candle while I'm working. It just keeps me like engaged and in touch with my devotion and my reasons for doing things. You know, I have a bit of a mystical career as well. So it makes sense, like a spiritual calling, but yeah. And then there's the shedding of people, situations, jobs, mindsets, things, places, obligations seemed like a really big one. And I put it in quotation marks, so I don't know why that happened while I was channeling, but I think there's an idea that you might have that you are obligated to do certain things when you're not. You might think that you have to do certain things in your life, in general, for other people, in your work environment, even in like your social life, in your leisure time. You're not obligated to do all of the things that you think that you are. So I would encourage you to do like an audit, a life audit, and look at the ways or the places, the spaces, the situations in which you feel obligated to do things or say things or not say things or be a certain version of yourself when that's actually not your responsibility. And then the last one was taking on people's stuff. I am currently having some weird like throat stuff. It doesn't hurt, I just can't seem to clear it. So you might be having trouble speaking your truth or feeling like you can't, like there's no opportunity to do so, or fear around speaking your truth. So that's something to think about. Okay, I just heard the word oracle right as I opened up the tarot. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. see what we've got here. Oh, our deck is upside down. Oh, no. Just mixed up all the cards. Okay. What does the collective need to know right now? Okay, that's annoying. So we're not that deck. The joy of being clairaudient. I guess it's this one then. Sometimes, like, it's the universe, it's spirit, it's, yeah. Sometimes spirit and the universe makes me laugh. Okay, that's an interesting card. We got flirtation. This could be, I keep hearing, like, you need to flirt with life again. I mean, it could be relationship related. I don't know. You tell me. But there's a need to flirt with life again. It's just been so heavy for so long. And, ooh, okay. Well, it just came out with seduction. Ah. Health in reverse. Manipulation on the bottom. Okay, interesting. The other channel message was not a relationship reading. But this is very interesting. So we got flirtation. I think you need to flirt with life again. You need to lighten things up again. One thing that I would warn you from getting into, and there's nothing wrong with dating, dabbling, doing whatever it is you want to do. But with the seduction card, oh, she's covered. That's good. Actually, this one's covered too. I was so concerned about not being allowed to. I don't know how it works with YouTube and the nudity thing, but they weren't nude. Excellent. Good. Come on. And then health in reverse and then manipulation came out. So this to me is speaking to potentially in trying to lighten up, make things more fun again, potentially getting into like getting distracted. You can bring lightheartedness and joy back into your life without getting distracted. This could be like a person, the flirtation with a person, or they're flirting with you, and then the seduction happens, and then recognizing kind of after the fact that it wasn't a healthy dynamic and there was manipulation involved. This can also just happen with the things that you're falling. It's kind of like the energy of the devil card, which is, it's not bad. It just speaks to an addictive energy, like coping strategies and things and distractions. The things that you're using to lighten up can also become consuming too much of that. So, and then that becomes a distraction. It's not like, oh no, now you're addicted to, you know, a person, or you're addicted to, you know, watch it. You don't have to binge an entire series to feel better. You can watch 1 or 2 episodes, right? You don't have to drop everything and go on a holiday when what you needed was a walk around the block. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, trust me, I love to travel, so it's hard to keep me in one place. But there is something about making sure that the way that you're navigating right now is healthy and balanced. I keep seeing the Temperance card in my own mind's eye, so that might be relevant part of it. I am going to do a tarot card really quickly. But yeah, that's an interesting message to come out after the channeled one. Let's see. And then I need to stop it because I've been going for quite some time. Oh my gosh, almost 25 minutes. And again, let me know if any of the channels from the beginning of the, I was going to say the beginning of the call. It's not a call. The beginning of the video. I feel like you're here with me. This feels like a call with my bestie. If any of the channels, the keywords, the things that came through when I was writing in my notebook before, I was going to say the call again. Maybe we're meant to have a call. Interesting. I don't know. I also just like kind of snorted, and I don't do that so much when I laugh. Sometimes if I'm laughing really hard, but maybe you do. That's weird. Maybe pigs are important to you somehow. Maybe it's just that breathing thing. Okay. Sorry. I'm often like given a number of times to shuffle, but it was many. Okay. What does the collective needs to know? The Temperance card. The Temperance card. Oh my gosh. Ah! It's just, this stuff is wild sometimes. What was I just talking about? The Temperance card. Okay. There's a need for balance. You will feel better when you bring balance into your life. And the things that you use in order to feel better must also be balanced with the goals, the work involved to achieve the goals, to manifest the life that you want. That takes work. Manifestation is not just like sitting and visualizing and only doing that. That often doesn't result in manifestation of the things that you desire. It must be balanced with action. So in order to break, I just heard break the curse. I don't think you're cursed. Ooh, I just feel this really sharp pain in my left, I was gonna say elbow, shoulder. There's a lot of channels coming through. Okay, something to do maybe with your elbow. I felt the pain in my shoulder. Yeah, it's not super clear, the channel anymore, but things need to be balanced. You do need to break out of the negative cycle, the negative thinking. Hopefully this helps you do that. It's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You are okay. And it's okay if you don't feel okay. But it's better to eventually feel okay. So let's make that the goal. Be kind to yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. Do something fun. Call a friend. Do what you need to do. And don't allow yourself to be manipulated. This can happen even in social situations. Have you ever had that before, when someone's like trying really, really hard to get you to go to the party, and you know that you need to go to bed early? You know that it's not a good night for you to be out. You've been out too many nights. Pardon me. And I haven't. It's only like 9:20 right now, but clearly that was someone is tired. Someone listening to this is tired. Someone needs to go to bed. And don't allow yourself to be manipulated into going to the party if you don't want to socialize if you don't want to. There needs to be some boundaries around your time and your energy. I just felt that really strongly. It is impacting your health, or it would impact your health if you keep doing the things that people are telling you are the fun things to do, and maybe that's not what's fun for you anymore. Maybe the thing that's going to make things lighter is you having a movie night with one person, or with your pet, or calling a friend. It's not always the only way to feel better is to go out and party. I don't know. That seems like a really important message for somebody. And don't fall into escapism by only seeking pleasure. And there is a message for someone here about just like being cautious around the possibility of manipulation in a dating situation that could turn into an unhealthy connection, but not necessarily. You have free will. All right, sending you lots of love. Bye.